book chat? Ready or not? This was the first book that actually took off. It wasn't the first book I published. It was like the third, I think, fourth, something like that. But this is my most popular book. I have hundreds of thousands of downloads of this book. In matter of fact, the first day that Ashley did, the very first promotion I ever did on it, it was downloaded 33,000 times in 24 hours. That was just, it just blew me away. It's like, oh my goodness. And so, obviously, I love this book. This book has an interesting beginning. This one began with a what if question. And in my opinion, most books, if not all books, start with one of three questions. It's either, one of three things. It's either a question, what would happen if, or why would someone do, or whatever, or a character, like Anne of Green Gables maybe, or a place, like Narnia, or wherever that place is in Lord of the Rings, Middle Earth. Is that what it's called? I hope. Anyway. And so in this one, it definitely began with a question. The question was, how do you do it? Because I got that question all the time. All the time. I can go anywhere, I can do anything. They find out I have 8 kids and it's like, how do you do it? I can only manage with the 1 or 2 or 20 I have. No. And I always answered the same way, and I meant it. And it wasn't being flippant, but I'm sure it probably felt like it to those people. But I would be like, you just get them one at a time. So I don't get 8 all at once. I got 1 and I learned to juggle that. And then I learned to juggle 2 and learned to juggle 3. When you're juggling balls, you put 2 and you do those until you get them right? And then you go on to 3 and then you take up 4 and sometimes you drop them all. And let's not drop the baby. That's not what they mean by bouncing baby boys and girls, right? And so, that's where the idea came from, because then I was like, yeah, but what if you did? What if you did get all 8 all at once? Whoa, right? And so then I was like, well, also, what about, should it be a boy or a girl? Should a man inherit 8 kids? Can you imagine how funny that would be? It would be hilarious. And there was part of me that just really wanted to do that. But I didn't know how to write men. I was still learning how to write. And I was just like, I don't think I can do it well. And so I chose not to do a man. And so I chose I gave her every disadvantage I could, because of her sister's mother-in-law. She didn't get to spend much time in the kids' home with them. And I gave her mother a heart condition, so she didn't spend much time with them at her mother's house. And, she's been in college, and so she's been busy, and she graduated early. She's a teacher, so she's got advantages, right? Yeah, but somehow she missed rotations in the younger classrooms. And of course they don't do, toddler care in elementary, right? And she was going for a high school. She wanted to teach high school, and so she's one of those rare people that actually got that rotation, right? And so, I gave her, all the research. I can't tell you about the research. I asked every teacher I could think of, do you know anyone who didn't get a lower class rotation, that they only got the older classes? And there weren't many, but there were some. And I was like, as long as it can happen, that's good enough for me. And so I did. I gave her every disadvantage. And then I threw all those kids at her. Oh, and by the way, she's grieving for her sister, right? And so it was just kind of interesting, just all the little things. And then, the other thing about this book that is interesting, and that people ask me all the time, they ask me where I got the idea, and I tell them that. And then they ask me, well, is there a lot of stuff in there, like about you and your kids? Most of my kids aren't in here. I kept most of them aside, protect the innocent / guilty. So for the most part, they're not, but my mistakes are definitely in there, and there's a few little odd things in there that happened to me. For example, at the very beginning, one of the opening scenes, it's not really a spoiler, but one of the opening scenes, she has she makes a bottle for the baby, and she goes downstairs, she's bleary-eyed, she mixes the bottle, she feeds the baby. She comes downstairs later when this kid just won't go to sleep, and he's screaming his head off, right? And guess what? She made his bottle with instant coffee instead of formula. Yeah, that actually did happen, sort of. I did the exact same thing, but with hot chocolate. I just happened to get a glimmer of light on my arm as I squirted to see if it was too hot. I was like, why is this brown, you know? And it just happened to be just right, or I would have completely made that mistake. And then, like, there's a child in it. It's my friend's child did this. I think it was her son. He came to her and he was like, I broke this and I hid it under the bed. Don't tell yourself. And so I put that in there. I think it's actually might be in book 2. I'm not sure. But there are lots of things in here. The messenger conversations, I modeled them after my friends and I. And they're outdated now. People don't have them this way anymore. They were heading out at the time that I wrote it, but I didn't care because I made it real. You know, I just made it, this is how things are. And that's fine, right? One of the interesting things about this book is that it is actually double. It was originally written on Messenger, that same Messenger. I seriously, you know, a lot of people will share what they've written. I do it even today. I use Trillion with my friend Kathy Swanson. And so we'll copy and paste sections that we've written from our documents into Trillion. Well, it actually kind of worked the other way around with this book. I tended to write in Messenger, you know, oh, look, what about this idea? And I would type it all up and I would hit submit, and then I'd copy and paste it into the Word document as we were discussing things, and I would make changes. And so, I mean, that book, it was a weird way to write a book. But one of the friends that I did that with and that we talked about with, Crystal, she's amazing. Hi, Crystal, if you're watching. Crystal, she was hilarious. She got on Messenger one day and she says, you're not going to believe what happened. I was driving down the road and I passed a sheriff and I looked to see if it was William. William is my character. He's not real. But that was really encouraging to me because it told me that I had created someone who felt real to her. And that made my day. And so back then, when this was a Messenger book, there's Ready or Not, and there's Four Keeps, and there's Here We Come. Those are the first 3 in the series. Ready or Not, Four Keeps, and a third of Here We Come, a quarter to a third. Those were about 60,000 words combined originally. And then I decided it's time to make them read less like a laundry list, and I started adding details and, you know, cooler things, right? Well, now this one is 120,000 words, or 123, I think. And the second one's like 125, and the third one's around 100,000, and then the fourth one I think is closer to 130. So, yeah, they fleshed out rather nicely. Kind of like I did after babies. But so these books are a lot bigger than they were back in the day. And then this book has another unique thing. It's my most popular. It was the one that really kickstarted my writing. But it also is my first cover with people. I originally hadn't had any people, and I fell in love with this cover. I mean, this image. You really can't see the back. It goes all the way across. It's kind of hard to show, but it just goes all the way around, and then I put my back stuff on it. But it was the first time I used people, and I didn't want to use faces. I was very anti-faces, and then Ashley came along, and I don't get to make that choice anymore. And she's right, okay? I have to admit, she's right. As much as I want to say that I don't like books with faces, people are drawn to them. They just are. It's a fact. I can't get away from it, and so I need to, you know, give her kudos for being right. Anywho, but the interesting thing is that after it came out, several friends started commenting. And they would email me, or they would comment on a post I had made or something, and they'd be like, I found this book. It's a Bible study, a devotional on Ruth, and it's got your cover almost. And the cover is almost the same. It's this girl with a suitcase. And I had actually considered the suitcase, and if I recall correctly, and I may not, because, let's face it, it's not easy to recall all this stuff, but I believe that I had actually meant to purchase the one with the suitcase, and I hit the wrong one and wasn't really paying attention, and so I bought the wrong one, and they were too expensive to just buy another picture, so I had to do without the suitcase, which is good because it would have been way too cluttered with the suitcase. But you know, I was young and I was learning, and I'm still learning, but I'm not quite so young. So right here, this is Ready or Not. It's book 1 of the Aggie's Inheritance series. Actually, note, Ready or Not's original title was Aggie's Inheritance. And yeah, didn't like it. I still don't like it. I tend to call them the Aggie books. So there's Ready or Not, there's For Keeps, there's Here We Come, and then Ante Up. And then there will be a spin-off series. I already have plans for Vanny and Laird, the 2 oldest children, her sister's children, the 2 oldest. I already have theirs all plotted out. They're going to have pretty much opposite entrances into the adult world, and that's going to be a lot of fun. So anyhow, Ready or Not, thanks for joining me, and you have a great week.